I mean, we've talked a little bit about what we're expecting. I know, Steadfast, you're talking about how long the games and stuff are going to be going. Who is the favorite coming into this one, Dave?
That is such a difficult question because it really, truly comes down to who is feeling it that day, who is on their game. A lot of them, we had a very clear favorite, you know? No disrespect to some of the players that got eliminated, but like there's a reason that they are not here today. It's because the other players just outplayed them. But this one, these guys have beaten each other so often. Their match statistics are so close. It could legitimately be decided by a sneeze, you know? Like it is so razor's edge between the two of them. As with that being said, I feel like Solar is going to want that revenge from their last meeting at DreamHack Dallas where he was eliminated.
And guys, we're going to get right into the game. Was it not Solar that won DreamHack Dallas and Shin won the revival? Or is
yes, no, you're right. I have that completely backwards. Yeah, Shin's going to want the revenge. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
And to that point, that's what we're looking at, but we'll get into it right now because we've got something very important shaping up. Spawning up in the top right for Falcons, it is Solar.
And you are absolutely correct, Steadfast, because over here, bottom left-hand side, representing Weeboo Gaming, it is Shin with a 12 pool.
And not just any 12 pool. This is going to be a 12 pool with gas and a hatch. This is what we call mind games. Starting the series off with some shenanigans. So, 12 pool into expand, not that crazy. 12 pool into expand with gas. This could be a couple things. This could be Banelings, this could be Speedlings. My money's on the Banelings. This is going to be very unexpected, and it's going to be up to Solar to defend perfectly. We have a Queen already starting up. Okay, this makes me think Speed,
most
yeah.
likely. I was with you, because I did think, okay, it was initially 2 on gas. It wasn't like the biggest commitment. Now it's a big commitment. He's bypassing that first Overlord as well. Now, this isn't like a guaranteed win or anything. You can hold this with drones, but Solar is going to have to be so on point, not just for the first wave, but this is going to be a follow-up wave afterwards because Shin is putting a lot of eggs in that basket.
He absolutely is, and what Shin is doing right here, he is representing a normal 12-pool macro play. And then behind it, he is going to stockpile Lings. That is going to be his goal. We do see, starting off right here, it is going to be, one drone getting picked off. This is a pretty good set of fights here for Shin. If we take a look at the battle report after this one concludes, because it's actually not done yet, this is a little bit weird. I feel bad because I think we were out of the, or I wasn't paying attention right away. This might have actually been a 13 or a 14 pool just looking at things. We'll take a look at it afterwards. But regardless, the whole methodology behind this game plan is going to be, you've defended my initial pressure. Now, you are going to drone because I'm droning. This was just a pressure. But suddenly, there is going to be a massive swell of Lings. Will Solar be able to get a wall down at the front and be able to defend against this massive, massive commitment?
It's quite important that that last Ling died before Speed was shown, by the way. Now, Solar has droned up quite significantly, and he's still adding on a few drones, but still, does he have enough Lings? He's come over to the other side of the map, sees a couple of Queens here, and he's like, you know what, this looks relatively normal. Oh, wait a minute, this is not normal at all. So I'm very curious what he's doing back at home. I'm looking at the webcams. He looks pretty calm so far, bringing down some extra drones as well, trying to make that wall on the ramp, and that Baneling nest not going to be done in time, but that wall is actually quite hard to deal with.
That it is. Nice little drone pull and hold position here, but the concave of Lings is much better for Shin. The drones now joining in to actually fight. Good hold position micro, but Shin has a lot of Lings here. The Baneling nest was bait, and he didn't fall for it. Drones are not going to be able to protect the Queens initially. One Queen goes down, second one will fall, but is there going to be enough Lings to hold for Solar? It looks like for now the answer is yes. Solar was building quite a few Lings initially, and that has given him just enough buffer to hold. And he is so far up in drones. Now the Baneling nest completes. Excellent defense for Solar.
And look at Shin's face. You can see that it's like, oh no, it did not work out at all, did it? And no, rightly so. I think Solar's defense here was pretty damn good. He was skirting a fine line there on the balance of eco. And look, Shin, he knows it. GG.
GG.
The hot take so far, The prophecy is true from our dear Steadfast.
Well, I mean, that one was a bit of a freebie,
He's
if I'm
smiling,
being
look.
honest.
He's smiling. And I mean, like, I respect the play. I think it's always cool to enter a best of 5 when you know you've got multiple lifelines with something a bit erratic.
Yeah.
And that always shows your opponent, hey, man, I'm willing to do anything here. Like, if I can get a cheeky win out of this. But Solar, very, very solid. And Solar, in a lot of ways, is the punching bag Zerg, that he's great at taking a hit and bouncing back. But you can see Ragnarok here that's like, there's going to be a lot of regret going on there, things he could have done different, but overall, Solar just handled that very, very well.
Oh, he handled that perfectly.
You're right with the whole positioning drones. He positioned 3. I could see the individual clicks on that ramp in front of the queens and then held position them, which made it so much harder to engage them. And Shin did a great job of trying to focus fire them down individually, but it was just enough time to get extra lings out. And that was an all or nothing strategy out of Shin. And the fact that he had Banelings following up there did Solar and double the eco, basically. Nice start to the series.
I actually want to revise and edit the first draft of what I said there about the Baneling Nest being bait. That Baneling Nest was so genius in so many ways. 1, it acts as a timer. 2, it actually breaks down the surface area those lings can get. And 3, it puts like a mental pressure on Shin to go for it. And it also, of course, could act as a bait. If Shin goes after the Baneling Nest, those queens are free firing, the lings are going to be getting good value. Just overall, magnificent decision-making under the gun from Solar right there. I'm going to be very interested to see if Shin, that might put him off cheesing that way for the rest of the series at this point. As we have spawning down in the bottom left for Weibo Gaming, it is Shin.
And looking calm and focused and very ready. Spawning over in the top right-hand side as our Red Zerg. Hailing for Team Falcons, it is Solar. Shin's build was a little bit funny, by the way. Like, he waited for the Overlord at 14 out of 14. So, not a hatch first, then with the next 3 drones coming, then the spawning pool. So, definitely not the normal, the regular, where it's like, okay, is it an early pool? Yes, it is, but not that early. So again, looking to do something a little bit cheeky here. And I'm very curious about what Shin's got planned, because of the 2, I would say that Solar is the more orthodox Zerg, but he's not one of those guys that won't do any early cheese shenanigans. So maybe thinking like, hey, I cheesed you in that first game. Maybe I'll do some like anti-cheese build, because this is very good against those very early pools. But again, it could be just one of those safety things. But I hope Shin isn't in his own head at this point.
I don't think he is. I think this is actually him saying, I think you might just 12 pool drone pull me back. So I'm just looking to get a free win from that. It's not going to be a saving larva, 16 pool, something into that. What this is actually going to be is something Katz is a massive fan of. That is a hatch in the wall. What this enables you to do is a few things. 1, you get a lot of extra larva with this, which means you can drone like crazy. 2, your wall is now partially done. And this is a ley lines special. He's only going to need 1 structure for that. Just a very, very neat way to go about this. And of course, the lings, maybe they find a little bit of damage. At the very least, you should be able to get a good scout. It's a neat little way to approach it and can get you some really powerful eco behind it. We'll have to see if this gets any damage, but I do like the approach from Shin. It's not deviating away from crazy, which is cool.
It isn't. It's just, I look at the production tab and I see all the things lining up and it's like, you're foregoing map control entirely.
Yes.
So this isn't a game where you're planning on what happens in the next minute or 2. You got to be thinking about what's happening several minutes down the line, because he is not going to be able to get a third very quickly against speedlings, which are going to have control. Granted, Solar won't know exactly what's going on behind this, but he's good enough of a Zerg to know that that's quite a commitment to getting that third hatch up in the front like that.
It is quite a commitment, and you do forego the map control, like you were saying, but you also get something very nice, which is the total denial of your opponent's scout. There could be a speedling all in behind this. There could be some kind of crazy fast Evo with like +1 melee, +1 carapace. A lot of weirdness that could come, and Solar's going to have to respect that a little bit. I do like Solar using those 2 queens to go after the Overlord. Of course, Shin did pre-build an extra Overlord, but cuts into his droning a little bit and really makes it uncomfortable if Solar were to be the one to all in, which we're not going to see an all in. This is just a small Ling pressure, but it's going to maybe force a little bit of a reaction. The main thing, though, to take away from this is Solar hasn't fully chomped down on the bit, and there's still just so much StarCraft to play in the ZVZ.
I think it's just going to be a +1 missile timing from SHIN, you know. Like, the way that things are going here, like, obviously he's got this really nice wall at the front. He skipped Ling speed entirely. It's going to be multiple gases coming down as well. I can't see it being anything but that. So, yeah, +1 missile does start here, which is cool by him, but you can see that Solar's not far behind. Ooh. Drone count-wise, SHIN has pulled a little bit of a lead, but he has far more to gather from here with that third base finishing up right now.
Yes, the interesting thing, though, that I was oohing about right there is Solar has gone for Carapace. He initially started up the +1 missile. He was close to his opponent's Evo train, but you saw that it was not wiggling, which means that the upgrade cannot have started yet. So he started +1 missile, said, wait a minute, I can go Carapace first, which will mean that the +1 missile is now countered. Ooh. Very neat.
Look at that production tab, Mutalisks. Now, there is an Overlord entering the main base, but that is not where the Spire is. But getting to see that the lair is done as early, SHIN is absolutely trying to trick his opponent here. So damn hard. Now he's going for a third base. Can he get it up? Solar absolutely in position here. Should be able to get that drone by the skin of his teeth. Yes, he does do that. There was no queen available for the transfusion. And this is enough roaches that you have to respect it. He's also going into speed afterwards. Is he? Oh, he sees that Spire. That is huge.
Massive scout there. This is something Bly used to love doing in all of his ZVZs. Not necessarily the fast third hatch in the wall, but that two-base Roach and Spire play, and you can kind of oscillate through. I think that's a really cool way to play. Of course, we are going to see the faster the faster Roach speed. Actually, hang on. Did he scout the Roach Warren? Is my question. Did Solar scout that Roach Warren at all?
He scouted the Roaches at the front because they
of course, duh.
They dealt with the Lings and stuff, managed to get up the third base.
Wonder if he saw it wiggling, though, for the upgrade. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like right now, the fact that he canceled it and then started it again, or in fact, I mean, this is just such a weird game. So Solar, with that earlier third, has managed to get the drone lead, and he's got confirmation that the Spire was not cancelled here. Right now, if I was in SHIN shoes, I'd be sweating. I'd be thinking like, okay, how am I going to eke an advantage out of this? Yes, I've got an extra macro hatch, which is cool, but my opponent has scouted absolutely everything. So is this just going to be like 4 mutas to hunt down Overlords, do a little bit of harass, force out some Hydralisks or extra Queens? Because right now I feel that Solar is ticking all the right boxes here with what he's going for.
Yeah, no, I definitely like how Solar is playing this one out. Very quick Lurker Den after going into the Hydras. Yeah, this is just going to be a very, very small commitment into those mutas. We are going to see that it will be just, Roaches out of SHIN for a while. Nice little Ling run by there from Solar, getting a great scout. And, of course, seeing the, of course, picking off those 2 drones there. The map control that the mutas afford and cleaning up the Overlords is obviously quite nice, but the tech advantage for Solar is very significant. And I mean, my prediction is already blown out of the water because we are fastly approaching 7:30, and there is no way this game is going to end anytime soon because we've got an infestation pit coming in. Solar's looking to hive.
And look at what SHIN's doing. I don't think he plans on making this a really long game against what he's going up against. He's planning on getting Banelings. Even though his muta count isn't high, getting Banelings to deal with the Hydras is definitely going to be good. But look at that, 8 Ravagers on the way. That's a lot of gas. He is on 6 gases, taking a 4th base right now, so he is leapfrogging ahead in the expansion count. But Solar, he's in a relatively comfortable spot right now. He's not really taking any eco damage, and his upgrades, he's absolutely catching up.
Yeah, and the +2 missile versus 1-1 is nice, but those lurkers being built as early as they are, a lot of times you will wait to build those lurkers. The fact that he's built them so early is incredibly good. SHIN needs to catch his opponent out of position. He needs to find a spot where those lurkers are not burrowed, but they are burrowed up at the 30. He's going to go in anyways. The Spore Crawler will come through, blind firing the Biles. Now he sees where one of the lurkers is. It does unburrow. Second one in a lot of trouble, but it will get protected by the Roaches. This is looking very good for Solar on paper. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get too far away from those lurkers, but he's actually hunting down some of the Ravagers, which will protect the lurkers by preventing those corrosive biles, and Solar swats that attack away. Now he is just so far ahead. Hive just completed. He's going to be able to go straight into the lurker upgrades. This is an amazing advantage here for Solar.
It's a massive advantage. Look at that army from Solar. Like, that packs a punch. Like, the Roaches definitely are one of the most efficient units in these battles, but having that backline of Hydras, definitely key. And you see it in the bottom tab over there. Way more supply for Solar, a stronger fighting army, better techs on the way as well. I like the timing out of SHIN because it was as +2 hit, so we did have an advantage in that regard, but everything else, he's in a lot of trouble.
That he is. Yeah, no, can we take a look at the structures tab for SHIN right there? Yeah, no Hydralisk Den. This is very likely going to be, I build some Vipers, I try and yoink your lurkers out of the ground, and I try and find an opening, and that is going to be something that is going to be very difficult to do. Lurkers are king versus ground units right here. We do see a little bit of that happening right here with the Lurkers not being in position, but Solar is so mobile with the rest of his army, and he can just kind of go back to the Lurkers as needed. As long as he's got that anchor point, it is so difficult for SHIN to find an opening.
And also, those Lurkers have the range ability now. I mean, like, this fourth base is exposed to Ravager Fire, but you can't keep that up all the time. And Solar, he's not too fussed about losing these Roaches. If he can trade them efficiently and trade out for more Hydras behind this, that'd be great. But I tell you what, SHIN is getting a good catch on all of this. And Solar feeling like, okay, this isn't exactly how I wanted to lose all those Roaches, you know, being chased across the map. But it does open up that far right side. And now you see Solar is moving down for most likely a bit of a counterattack.
I really like that right there. He is sacking out the Roaches. He's building more, but he's trying to surmise, I think, whether his opponent is actually going for lurkers himself. And if he's not, he's like, yeah, this is fine. I'm so far ahead in tech. I'm going to continue to get stuff. Now he's got Adaptive Talons coming through. That's going to make those lurkers even more difficult to punish. Finally, a Hydralisk Den coming in for SHIN, but this is unbelievably late in terms of the tech. Both players are on 4 bases. We've got the high-yield gas. I'm sure that's going to be coming along very, very soon for Solar if he hasn't already mined it out himself. And, I mean, this is a little bit of a concave coming in for Solar. Actually, if he can catch all these Roaches, this is amazing for Solar.
How many Lurkers are on the field right now? I feel that count's been growing a lot. 6. I mean, it's not overwhelming just yet, but if they were to partake in any of these fights, but who's sandwiching who? We've got a north side flank here for SHIN, and those biles do connect, but now the Lurkers with all those upgrades are coming in. And Solar, he is still maxed out. He's losing units, yes, but his army is packing so much more tech. And look at those Lurkers. He feels he can just run on in there. And I mean, that was maybe a little bit too ballsy, but it does look like he is taking the victory on the battlefield right now, and there is just not enough SHIN.
Not even close. The tech advantage that those Lurkers afford is unbelievable. There's so few of them on the field, and they just dominate every fight. If he can snipe the Overseers, that'd be amazing. Not going to be doing it just yet. They're so low on HP. Would really like to see that, but he doesn't even need it. Solar is just going to easily push through there with those Lurkers and now finds himself up 2-0. SHIN, big smile on his face, but he's got to be... That's more of like, well, that's ZBZ, isn't it?
I mean, he is going for weird and wacky stuff, right?
Yes.
Like that third hatch kind of thing. I like the idea, but Solar's reaction, like very often when somebody does something weird against you, the very normal and best reaction against it is just to do whatever you were doing anyway. Because that kind of thing, what did Solar do? He didn't do anything aggressive or crazy. It was just like, okay, I'll get link speed, I'll get map control. This means I can get an earlier third than you. I'll scout, I'll play like appropriate. And he was ahead. Like, he was just ahead. I mean, there was decisions that SHIN made afterwards, such as, I'm going to go Roach, +1 speed, get some mutas. The mutas got scouted, though, like, even when the spy was halfway done, which was very unfortunate. I wonder if he'd have lent way more into mutas if that wasn't the case, because that could have been a bit of a window there. But then the mutas, small commitment, did a huge +2 timing, didn't work out. It was a lot of trying to catch Solar off guard, but Solar, he had none of it. He was having none of it at all.
He was so locked in that game, and it's funny, if you looked at the player cams coming out of it, you would have thought SHIN won that game. Solar was stone-faced. He is so focused right now.
Well, he knows it's not over yet.
Yes.
Because, you know, starting off the series, you both have to win 3 games. And I mean, SHIN still is in this. 2-0 down, no lifelines left, maybe no more weird shenanigans from him, and it does look like that thus far within the first 20 seconds, given that he's going for a far more normal build. Spawning over in the top left-hand side here, representing Falcons, 2-0 up, it is Solar.
And his opponent, tournament life on the line, down to his last life. It is Weibo Gaming's SHIN. It is quite difficult to remain unfazed, but these guys are pros. They have been here before. SHIN is a player in a weird way, we've always kind of overlooked SHIN as he gets like 7 top 8s, top 4s, almost consecutively at major tournaments. And we're like, well, I still don't know if SHIN can make it through. But he has absolutely earned the respect and the right to be here. He's been here before. So he can absolutely come back. But Solar, with 3 opportunities, 3 match points in a row, is going to be such a dangerous opponent, especially in this unpredictable ZVZ.
And you got to remember, this is group stage Solar we're talking about. Like,
yeah.
Group stage Solar is just a different beast entirely. He was 2-2 against Clem, arguably the best TVZ on the planet for like the last year or so. So doing that in that matchup, and then being 2-0 against SHIN, I'll tell you what, Solar has came to show off all that he's been prepping in that lab over the last few months here for this tournament, and it shows, it really does.
And it's super funny because stylistically, what I was alluding to beforehand, the Korean style of ZVZ, that very, very unpredictable, a lot of 2 gas, roach-worn plays, a lot of very small minutia where you leave 1 drone on gas extra. You can see 2 of 3 right there. That is the standard way of playing. Lambo came up with a genius build once upon a time where he left 1 extra drone on that gas and did this like 7 Roachling Bane push off 1 gas. I was so excited when I saw it. It was so cool. But the fact that Solar is basically just playing standard, I would say European ZVZ, it's like he heard me. The Europeans like bribed him and were like, you gotta, Steadfast is gonna say something stupid on the broadcast. You gotta prove him wrong by playing our style. It's so unexpected.
Yeah, I mean, of all the Korean Zergs that we've ever had in the history of StarCraft 2, Solar is the one that is most close with them. He speaks very good English. There's a lot of banter that goes on back and forth, but there is one player that he's always had the utmost respect for, which is Serral. And watching Serral play any matchup, it really feels like you're watching somebody that's like, oh, that makes 100% sense why you did that. And it's like, he makes it look so easy, so simple. The way that Solar's playing in the series so far, he's not skipping a beat. It really feels like he is locked in right now, making all the correct moves, the correct adjustments. Sometimes it requires no adjustment at all, just unfazed entirely.
Yes, and speaking of that unpredictability right there, we have Solar switching it up, saying, okay, now that I've baited him into saying this, now we put something a little bit weird into the zeitgeist. Did believe that was that quick Evo was spotted, but this is something that has kind of become a little bit more common in the Korean ZVZ meta. And that is a very fast Evo chamber hidden, sometimes in the main, sometimes in the natural. You don't want to show it right away, but that can be so many things. It can be melee, it can be carapace, but what has become recently quite popular is the +1 missile. And it looks like it could be some kind of weird Ling aggression, some kind of a very aggressive all-in, but it opens up so many potential opportunities.
It absolutely does. I mean, you have to respect it and fear it, the way that Zerg macro works. They can pop out multiple units of the same. It's not as if they're working with 1 barracks. Those hatcheries can produce absolutely anything. And here, they are both scouting very nicely. And honestly, as far as all the upgrades go and things they're going for, I think SHIN isn't going to be too far behind in that upgrade once that Evo does finish. He's got his Roach Warren completing, Lair on the way as well. They're both neck and neck on the drones. This, besides in the order in which they've done it, this is the first proper ZVZ between these guys without any kind of cheesy shenanigans. It's a mirror match here.
It is. And this is super, super interesting too, because we saw that layer started up just before the Ling got in, which means that can either be a fake layer or it can be a completely true layer. Now, in this case, we are going to be seeing it being a real layer, but SHIN can't know that. He can't know if that layer's been canceled. You have to constantly scout in ZVZ, and it's really, really difficult to keep tabs on your opponent. Now, the thing we're going to be looking for is Does either of them take an additional gas? Okay, yeah, this is a really, really neat little play right here from SHIN, as once again, you were saying it's going to be mutas.
He loves mutas. Like, he's one of the guys that I've seen do it in multiple different matchups when you least expect it. But here, Steadfast, look at that. They're both going for mutas. I mean, this is a very large map. Being able to remove map control, get all those overlords off the map, hit these timings, and Solar did hit a very fast +1 missile. This does open up to the fact that he can start +2 very quickly if he does so please, which then, if you have to commit to dealing with the mutas, but then also deal with this +2 timing on the ground, it can get very problematic. I'm just wondering exactly what he's going to spend that gas on right now.
Well, the interesting thing about this is that he ceded an advantage that he had, which was the upgrade timing, which is a little bit counterintuitive. But the thing that makes it great is that SHIN is so used to mind games, and he's so used to whatever, that when you double and triple mind game opponents, it can sometimes lead to these very, very weird, like almost double negative things.
Have they both scouted each other's Spire, by the way?
No, SHIN has not seen Solar's Spire, because if he did, he would not be making that +2 missile. He would not be making that Bane speed, and he would not be making roaches. Solar has a massive informational advantage right now, and it is going to translate to a very surprised SHIN when his mutas show up, and there's so many more. Oh, it's going to be Roach Corruptor. Oh, wow, this is not what I was expecting.
It's really cool, though, because obviously mutas cannot fight Corruptors. They cannot. Corruptors have very good high armor, and I think Solar here, the fact that he knows what he knows, he's actually foregone the +2 entirely. I think he's going to try and hit a timing before anything's ready.
Yep.
So those Banelings, they're going to be useless unless they're in really high numbers. Those Banelings were most likely going to be for dealing with the Hydras that are going to come.
Surprise!
And there's no Hydras. And SHIN right now, there's no reaction in his face. So maybe he was thinking like, hey, there's going to be something, but 28 Banes. This is going to be a huge clash. This is what we wanted between these guys. The Raging Bull against the Raging Bull. They are both getting ready to hit the other one as hard as possible. Solar splits have to be so on point against this huge mass.
This is so funny because if it had been mutas, the ability to snipe down Banes would have been so powerful, but now there is going to be a lot of roaches on the field. This is the first information we see for Solar. Baneling's going to try and roll on through. Splits for Solar are pretty decent to start things off. No +2 missile. Ravagers do start to fall, but the concave for Solar looking pretty good. Defender's advantage is going to kick in soon. Corruptors are on the other side of the field, killing Overlords, maybe Caustic spraying down something, I'm not even sure. Look at all those Overlords clumped up. The Roaches are going to be able to defend for now for Solar. It is a close fight, but it is SHIN with no reinforcements crossing the map at the moment, and Solar, he is just sniping Overlords red. Supply is so low, and it is going to get worse here for SHIN.
I love the fact that he's transfusing these Overlords, just trying to keep them alive, because that was a lot of damage done. You can see Solar, 158 out of 200. SHIN, he is not so lucky, even letting him have that Overlord over there. Now, Solar does start up some extra upgrades over here. SHIN is the one that's like, you know what? Maybe I need some Hydras in the mix, because that Baneling attack, it was very costly. I want to see the resources lost tab after all this chaos has happened here, because...
Yeah.
Okay, so Solar has been eking out quite a victory. Did lose more Roaches, has lost a couple of the Corruptors, but overall, what he has remaining, because those Banelings, they are not cheap, Steadfast.
No, they are very expensive. Obviously, the upgrade 100-100, not that expensive, but the Baneling nest, the Banelings, the Lings you built, 50-25 for each Bane, that adds up when you make 28 of them. Not going to do the math on stream, though, not this time. We are going to be seeing Solar maxing out quite a bit earlier. Will he commit to an attack? He is down an upgrade, and he did start that +2 missile, but look at the Roach count right now.
It is huge. I mean, that backline of Hydras is definitely going to be scary for dealing a lot of damage, and he's moving right up this ramp. He feels like his time is now to go, go, go. Nice dodging by SHIN on the Corrosive Biles, and SHIN, defender's advantage. His army is here. Everything is here, and those backline of Hydras can't really get pounced on. I mean, the Biles, they're not in high enough numbers to keep them moving to stop that DPS. Solar still retains a high count of Roaches, but that Corrosive Bile, or rather the spray, caustic spray from these Corruptors is going to do the job and take out the fourth base.
Yes, and this is, oh, actually, wow, these Corruptors, he might lose every single one of them, which,
that's
honestly,
pricey.
It's pricey, but they don't help in a direct fight, and they already did so much killing those Overlords, and now have killed that fourth base. I was going to say the caustic spray could have been used a lot earlier. Like, as in he could have used it a lot of the time earlier. And maybe could have even denied that +2 missile. We're getting into weirdness, but this has maybe been the weirdest game we've seen, as the weirdness continues. Like you just pointed out, oh my God, and now he cancels it. He started Bane speed and canceled it. This game is just all over the place. Banelings would have been good against the Hydras. I wouldn't have hated it, but Solar has his +2 missile done. He might just go in for another attack now.
Yeah, he's a bit worried that that upgrade will not come in time, and you need every resource you have. Solar has a bit more of a bank than his opponent, but right now, in terms of quality of army, they are neck and neck. I mean, SHIN, he is very committed to this Tier 2 fight here where it's just pure Roach, Ravager, and a few Hydras sprinkled in, but Solar, he is the one with the muscle right now. He can be here, there, and everywhere. Remember, he has a 4th base behind this that's been running for a while, and SHIN, by the looks of it, he hasn't been able to restart his 4th.
No, he did on this pocket location. It just got canceled again. That is great for Solar. He actually restarted Bane speed after canceling that 4th base. Now, this is another weirdness. Okay, hold that thought. We're actually going to see another engagement coming in. Just a little Parthian shot, let's see. But okay, actually SHIN maybe thinking he can push up this ramp, but it's always dangerous, even if you have more roaches pushing into a concave. Base trade?
Banelings.
Base trade? What?
I mean, if SHIN feels like he has to go across the map and he's rushing about and he's fighting on creep against Banelings, I mean, they don't have speed yet, which is a big deal, but he's running into them anyway, and those Ravagers are getting caught out very early on, but he has got away quite lucky there. We'll be able to most likely pick off that 5th base of Solar, and while all this is happening, the banks are getting far closer here. Those Banelings are not cheap. I can't emphasize enough. And Infestation Pit will be on the way. And Fungal is amazing against the armies that are on play here.
That it is. We are going to see a little bit of an engagement coming in potentially right here as SHIN is close to a big wraparound, but the Baneling speed just kicked in, and he will wisely pull back from that. This game is just all over the place. Ooh, big corrosive battles do land on the right side on Solar's army. One thing I got to point out, Solar could have started an infestation pit in his own hive a very long time ago, but he's elected to stay on this layer tech. Now we're going to see another kind of weird setup. There are a few of the Hydras in the back here. Corrosive Bowels aiming for this army will connect a little bit. Solar has a lot of roaches retreating on the top side. Banelings, good splits from SHIN. Very nice splits from SHIN. And now he's got the numbers advantage. The army of Solar, so much of it just moved to a different position on the map, and SHIN will hold, but Solar still had that massive bank, 23 roaches in production. This game is so bizarre. I cannot overstate how weird this is.
SHIN has to be so careful about this next wave because Solar remaxed instantly.
Yeah.
So his economy has been looking a little bit better for a little bit of time. Upgrade-wise, for this moment in time as well, maybe for like the next half a minute or so, 45 seconds, he is going to be ahead. But there's a little bit of breathing room, but not for long. 4 infestors on the way. If Solar wants to make a dent in SHIN, he has to do it very quickly.
Yes. Can we just take a look at that's Overlords on the left side of the map, right? The blue? Okay. Wow. Wow, that is a Corrosive Bile dream. Oh my God, that is so many Overlords. I don't think he has Overlord speed. But for now, Infestor popping out at this base. That is a nice fungal right there. No Corrosive Biles to follow it up. And in fact, the Ravager of SHIN does go down. But there's a lot of Hydras and a lot of DPS. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, there is another fight. And that will be a jump on the 3rd base. It was a really good fight there for SHIN. But he doesn't have the units here to deal with both sides. That is that supply advantage for Solar coming through. The base will get sniped on the 3rd base, and that is going to be difficult for for SHIN to recover from.
This is one of those moments where Solar's the bad guy. He's like, ha! You may have won the battle, but you did not win the war. Taking out a base right there, and SHIN is definitely on the back foot. He is now the one with a tech advantage with those infestors, but he has to be so clean about it, because right now, he's got the tech, but Solar's definitely got the eco.
He does have to worry about the fact that he's killed drones.
Ooh.
Oh, massive fungal. No Corrosive Biles to follow it up just yet. Another big fungal. The Ravagers are a little bit squishier. SHIN, though, is pushing into a bit of a concave. He needs to win a fight very, very hard, and that's what he's looking for. He's looking to chase down these units. Good Corrosive Biles there from Solar to buy himself time. Solar did keep a good number of roaches on the other side of the map, which means his army supply at home is quite a bit lower.
Yeah, absolutely. Solar's dealing economic damage on the far side. Right now, we see drones are dwindling in SHIN's count. his armies ran out of fungals here. Those infestors are now just free supplying. You see Solar picking them up. The supply is so darn close, though. But can SHIN push through? He is so close to absolutely busting Solar here, and he's on one of the bases here.
Very nice snipe on the Infestors just before it gets fungal energy. There is going to be another fungal shortly. SHIN really wants to catch those Ravagers. He misses the fungal, not able to get it there, but he will still break up the ramp. Solar is trying to buy more time for more units. Drones are going to pull into the fight. SHIN, can he make this one happen? This is so Razor's Edge in an absolutely wild game. SHIN is so committed right now. He's 3 base to 5.
He definitely is. I mean, if Solar loses his base, though, that's where a lot of his drones are. I mean, sacrificing all the infestors here. Those 12 Hydras in the back line, I can't believe they're all staying alive as well as they are. If he kills that base...
one Roach.
Yeah, just leave 1 Roach behind, and that's exactly what he does. He leaves 2 behind here. So Solar, he's on a bit of a clock. He has to bust out of this, but with what? He's got less units available.
Ooh, that one does land on a single Hydra. It might not seem like a big deal, but this is actually so close. It could be anything. Ling's being added on. He does have Baneling speed. I don't know if you want to invest in that. He's got a lot of gas, could morph in a bunch of Ravagers, but this is just a ridiculous game right now. Drones are falling at that base. The larva were not being used initially. We do see another engagement coming through. Good concave for SHIN. Solar really trying to protect that base. He knows that he can't really get the drones out, but SHIN is going to give up the position. It was such a good position, but now he's trying to, I guess, rotate over and find his opponent out of position. There are still more army units for SHIN, and actually, he is going to get a big jump on this left side. If he can set up at the bottom of the ramp, it's going to be so difficult for Solar to come down and deal with that.
He does have more Ravagers, though, to bust down here. I'm a bit surprised that he went over to this spot, actually.
Oh,
I really feel that he had that base absolutely under lock and key over there, but these bios are landing on Solar, actually, and Solar's supply is plummeting. 23 workers going down. I think he reinforced in the top right with a huge army here, taking out all the drones, and Solar absolutely getting cut back here.
What?
And SHIN back on the board.
What a comeback from the Weibo Gaming Zerg. He was in such a difficult position in that game, and he clutched it out like nobody's business. He was at like 138 of 104, losing Overlords, down in tech, down in army supply, down in bases, 5 bases to 3. I cannot tell you how difficult it is to come back from that. SHIN just showed a champion's poise in that game number 3.
He played really good, man. Like, if I've got to be hypercritical, which, you know, Rakasas and Atlas and stuff, just giving away all 6 of those Corruptors like he did to take out that bottom left hatch, that's the kind of thing where you could have moved those away a lot earlier, maybe not got the hatch right then and there, but absolutely utilize those later on in time, you know? And the fact that it allowed him to put his Overlords all back in position, Solar never committed to Hydras, so dealing with those Overlords for the Vision was really hard. So that I think that, along with maybe a few other things, maybe getting a bit too overzealous, definitely bit Solar in the butt, but it is very nice that SHIN was able to fight back in that game, because that, even though you see his face, he's smiling after win or lose, maybe he feels like, you know what, I shouldn't have won that game. Like,
he is 100% sure he shouldn't have won that game. That is the kind of game where you're just like, well, that's CBZ. That's baseball, Susan. You know, it's, oh, man. I'm at a bit of a loss for words. I do think you make a very excellent point about that, because there was so much opportunity for the Roaches to force units into different positions. And if he gets that hatchery for free and kills all of those, keeps all those Corruptors alive and is able to keep sniping Overlords, SHIN is just so blind. He's really going to struggle to make anything happen. Oh, man, I'm hyped now for the rest of this series. My blood is up.
Absolutely. I mean, if it was a 3-0 either way, I'd have been a little bit sad for the loser, you know, in any way, shape, or form. But here, SHIN managing to make the start of a comeback happen. He was 2-0 down. All lifelines are gone for him. He has to keep focused, keep ready. And moving into Maganatha, our 4th map of the series. Spawning over in the bottom right-hand side, representing Falcons, it is Solar.
And his opponent spawning up in the top left with a ridiculous game number 3. It is SHIN.
So all the super weird, wacky early build order stuff from him, you know, it didn't work out for him. But as soon as he goes back to the more normalized style, which I say more normalized, still with a muta, and the 4 mutas, it's something that he's done now a couple of times in a row. One time he got scouted, did 4 mutas anyway. Second time, 4 mutas anyway. So it tends to be like something that he likes to do. But I'm very curious how they're going to play this one. This is quite a large map. There's a lot of area to do fights, a lot of expand potential as well. I can't see this one being a short one.
No, this is... well, that's the thing about ZVZ is it could still be a very short matchup. Like it's so weird, and I want to get into the analysis of what happened in that previous game. But the number of misdirects that each of them used was so expansive. This is a series about their entire history and the fact that they know each other so well, and that's why there are layers upon layers upon layers of mind games in this one. And I am so ready to see what they got into. A little bit of Roddy came through right there. To see what they do in this game number 4. Will Shin have the nerve to bust out something really, really weird? Or will he feel very confident coming out of that one?
They're both just such raging bulls when it comes to Zerg, man. Like it really isn't about these clutch little key plays where it's like, oh, I did something super fancy. It's just about raw power. And you really feel that with how they were headbutting so hard, and some of the fights were so darn close. I felt that Shin did a much better job with the Biles in general. And maybe that's because he had this backline of Hydras that he didn't really have to worry too much about the fight itself because he had a lot of DPS, but Solar definitely ate a lot of those. I mean, that whiffed fungal at the end actually made me go like, oh, is that one thing that is going to actually go in Solar's favor here? But unfortunately for him, it did not.
Yes. Obviously, there was a much larger army for Shin, and that was why the fungal was so important, because if he catches those units at that moment, I think it's GG right then and there. Ultimately, of course, Shin does go on to win the game, but that is the kind of moment where if he ends up losing that fungal, that whiffed fungal, haunts him for a while, I think. But
because alternate timeline gets 3-0'd, or, you know, does a reverse sweep.
That's on the table. It's not happened yet, but it is on the table.
Alrighty, so in terms of what have these guys made, it's very, very mirrored up until now. They're pretty much neck and neck in drones, getting link speed exactly the same time. Third base is on the go, right in the triangular location. Shin with an immediate scout on that Roach Warren in the wall, though.
Yep. It is a, not the craziest thing, of course. He does get a scout on no second gas at that natural expansion, which is, well, it's a bit of a tell right there. It will come down now, but there's so many little different avenues you can take in ZVZ. Shin, for his part, is going to throw down the Roach Warren just a little bit later, double gas in the natural, but they're both still droning. The big deviations are, what do you do with an Evo chamber? Do you get a layer? And then from there, maybe we go into a mid-game.
I feel like, okay, I was going to say, I think Shin might be doing some kind of like, he was saving a lot of gas there before he went up for the lair, and I was like, this could be a lot of roaches, but no, neither one of them's going to go for it. It is a very long map to cross in terms of getting to your opponent straight away. Droning, both very equal, both very diligent about the scouting as well.
This is quite interesting from Solar. Those are very quick gases at the third base. I want to keep an eye on the mineral line in the natural. Will drones transfer over from there? We do see it's, sorry, did I say 5 gas? It's 4 gas. He didn't take the second gas in the natural. This is, God, it's mind games on mind games on mind games with these two.
I actually like it when Zergs do this with the gases.
Yes,
because
you can't scout those gases easily.
The gases at the back, you have no idea what's behind, but this means the potential could be, this could be 6 gas, or this could be 3 or 4, whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas then you start to panic and worry. So taking those gases at the front tends to be something that the Zergs do go for. Because even though knowledge is power, it's one of those things where you're denying the knowledge in the back as well.
And speaking of knowledge is power, what is Solar doing? He is not building an Evo chamber. Ooh, this is a big scout into the main base. He will see the lack of this gas. That is a fake gas. That is a fake gas if ever I've seen one. We are going to see Solar probably not cancel it now just to prove me wrong. But it is going to be a roach speed push coming in from Solar. No Evo. balls to the wall, and now he drones out of it because why not? I've been scouted. Let's pivot hard, just like I'm pivoting hard in this sentence.
Absolutely. I mean, his drone count is pretty damn low, so he does want to scare his opponent, force something out of him. But the fact, yeah, there's no Evo. I mean, he's making one now, but no +1 done or even started at this point. He definitely wants to do a big old switch to mutas.
Yeah.
And I like it. He's going to have speed a little bit earlier than his opponent here, and this is going to start the headbutting here. He is behind his supply, so he does have to be careful, but he's got more roaches out right here, right now.
Yes, and that is what he's going to be looking to trade with that roach speed. It's actually starting to work out pretty well for him. Shin going to pull the drones into this fight to try and buy time for those reinforcing roaches, and he will successfully manage to do so. Solar's got to be very careful about a potential counterpunch. Solar's been droning very hard behind this. If Shin goes with the +1 missile, the roach speed, he is going to be very difficult to stop right now. But if Solar can manage to convince his opponent not to push until those mutas pop out, things may be okay for Solar. As it is right now, it's going to come down to whether Shin has the read, and I think we've maybe already had that window close. We will see this changeling come in, though. Oh, does it see the Spire? He stops short, and he won't see the Spire. Mutas pop out, but Shin, he is the one now building a Spire behind this. This is so wild.
It's wild, but I feel it plays in Solar's favor quite a lot here. He has to do a lot of damage with these roaches. He really does. And I mean, Solar's going to have to be buying time with his own roaches, trying to stop the drones from dying. But those mutas will clean up shop. And then it's about what is Shin going to do? He cancels his Spire, goes for a Hydralisk Den behind, because why wouldn't you? But I tell you what, this amount of drones that's already fallen, this is actually very problematic for Solar.
It is hugely problematic. That choke in the natural really slowing down those units. The Evo Chamber helping a lot. It was built quite a bit later. So many drones have fallen at this point. We see tunneling claws starting up for Shin behind this. This is a massive amount of damage. He sends the roaches back into the main base. That is because he's tunnel visioning the layer. He didn't switch back right away. If he had clicked on that, he maybe could have killed that layer straight up, but he goes after drones again. There is a massive worker lead. Solar needs to get so much done with what is going to be a counterattack, but he's droning out of this. I don't think that's a strategic option.
I mean, he's just hoping that his opponent is spending so much on infrastructure here, getting spore crawlers up. I mean, the supplies are very close, and the army is bigger for Solar, but he's got a few options here. Do I cross the map? What do I do with this? Because he can catch up on drones with what he has, because he did keep a lot of his battle units alive.
Yeah, but it is going to leave him quite far behind. Now, the one thing I will say is the fourth base is going to be very nice here, but you can see Solar he's spending every little bit of money that he has, and he is very slowly creeping back up into that worker count. Now, Shin, he's got his own fourth base up too. It is going to be a little bit difficult to deal with that, the mutas killing that potentially. How many Hydras are on the field? How many spores at that fourth base? 14 Hydras?
You know, he got tunneling claws, but he didn't get burrow in time, so those roaches are going to be very much revealed. And he's going for infestors with this as well. Did he cancel the burrow? Or has he got it? No, he canceled it.
No, he forgot it.
He had it on the research tab, but then he just canceled it again. So I don't know exactly what's going on there. Solar's like, hey, this is way too easy for me right now. Like, where are you? And he was starting to head back for a moment here. But this, Solar's right back in it in terms of macro. It's just his army in a head-on fight is not going to be better against Hydra Infestor. And he has to go for the map control, he has to go for the macro, has to go for the expansions here.
Yes, we are going to be seeing the +2 missile, the Hydra speed. Do we have Hydra range already? Yes, we do. All right. So we are going to be going very, very soon for Shin with 4 infestors, 5th one on the way, +1 melee started up for Solar, and he is going to be trying to use these Lings to morph into Banes. That is a massive scout seeing those Lings right there for Shin, because that is going to let him know my opponent is almost certainly going to be playing at least some form of Banes. Muta count is very high. This is a weird hybrid Mutaling Bane and Roach Ravager setup. +1 flyer attacks is going to make those mutas pack a punch, but Shin's army in a straight-up fight is going to be much more powerful. Will Solar be able to keep him from crossing the map, though?
Yeah, because that is the one thing that Solar needs to do right now. He needs to stop his opponent from being able to cross the map. I got to say, Solar's being a little bit wishy-washy with these mutas. It's like, do I go here? Do I go there? He's always got to be careful about a burrowed infestor that gets one fungal, because then the next ones can follow. But Yeah, these mutas are not trading cost efficiently so far, but they bought him time. But that's a huge army, man. It's 58 drones for SHIN, so this is one of the biggest Zerg armies you're going to see.
It is. It's all going to come down to the Banelings, the Fungals. Can they connect? Infestors need to be protected. Where are the Banelings? Did he even morph any? No, he might just be defending with Roach Raptor. Yeah, he threw away all the Lings. He has no Banes, which means that it is a much better army for SHIN. Solar will have a couple mutas getting caught in the back by these Fungals. SHIN should not be deterred. This is his opportunity. The STC max out has come through, and he is ready to just kill his opponent and force that game number 5. He cannot be deterred. Fungal growths land. They're big, they're bad, and so is SHIN's army. He will force the GG, he will force game 5, and it all comes down to the rubber match.
It really does, and I tell you what, being 0-2 down and then just playing this way, it really feels like each time somebody's tried to do something a little bit weird and wacky, they've been caught out. And here, Solar, I like the initial Roach push, I liked the idea of it, but he did not have enough. And SHIN, very rightly so, he was like, you know what, I got to do a lot of eco damage with these Roaches because this is a one-way trip. I am not going to get home with them. And the fact that he did like 35, 38 drones or whatever it was worth of damage, that was enough to cement him in that game. And I like the choice that he did as well, where it's like, oh, this mutas, cancel Spire, Hydralisk Den immediately, get some spores back at home as well. He handled that very well. Yes,
This is such a fun series because we talk about ZVZ. We use that old analogy. It's a knife fight in a phone booth. That's usually referring to Ling Bane fights. We haven't seen almost any Ling Bane fights. This feels like a kickboxing match in a laundromat. Like they are just doing the weirdest stuff. They keep bumping into washing machines. They're throwing these weird Hail Mary kicks. They're hitting their own shins. That didn't even mean to do that. Hitting their own shins on the washing machines. Like it is just so weird and wonky, but it is so beautiful to watch. It's a viral video you can't take your eyes off of. And I am so glad it has gone to a game number 5. And it is going to be here on Ultra Love. Oh, man, as we get into it, quick prediction.
I mean, it's hard to say. Momentum is definitely in SHIN's favor, but those first 2 games, if Solar does stick to the solid and doesn't deviate too much, I feel that he's the one that has quite a bit more experience, even though Ragnarok has also been around since the start. Anyhow, getting into it, top right, our Red Zerg, it is Falcon Solar.
And his opponent putting up a Herculean effort, trying to come back from a 2-0 deficit for Weibo Gaming. It is SHIN.
I always love SHIN's posture, man.
It's so bad. It's such terrible posture. Showtime just threw up somewhere. He's like, oh, what is happening?
Like watching SHIN there in his computer, it's just like, yeah, he's doing some office work that he really doesn't like, you know, where it's like, okay, this is my 9 till 5. I don't like it here, but you know, he plays so damn well, and you always see his APM being ridiculously high as well. Alrighty, this game again. So we got gas first, pool second, or rather, hatch first, gas pool. So totally standard builds from these guys. And remember, everything that you've practiced, everything that you've been doing over this past year has led up to this moment. Winners go on with a $5,000 extra, a bonus, and potential for so much more. Already, they are walking home, or the loser walks home with $22,500. But if you win, there is potential for so much more, with first place being $200,000.
Yes, and this is so important. I talked about it at the beginning of the broadcast. The EWC Club Championship points that are on the line right here for both teams. Falcons, they've still got Rogue. They're definitely hoping Solar makes it through. They have not clinched any points yet. But if SHIN makes it through as the sole representative of Weibo Gaming, there is a very, very good chance. I'm not going to say for sure. There's a very good chance, though, that there is a lot more money on the line for his team and maybe even for him personally. So this could not be bigger stakes for the Blue Zerg in this one.
No, absolutely not. I mean, I have no idea how Weibo is doing in other games. I know Falcons are absolutely up there in the rankings. I think they're 4th place right now. But they would absolutely adore their StarCraft 2 players to do well in this tournament. Because if they do, every little bit helps. They are the returning champions of the club championships. And that is the opportunity to say that you are the best esports club in the world for the entire year. And I tell you what, they've been memeing a lot on the Twitters. And absolutely kind of rubbing it in a little bit. I know Team Liquid were absolutely victim to that from the Falcons.
Ooh.
So, yeah, quite a lot of what's the word? Pride on the line.
Ah, yes, a lot of ribbing. There's a lot of fun meme potential you have when you are up like that, when you are the returning champion. Let's talk about Ling Bane, the knife fight in the phone booth. They keep listening to me or something and being like, let's prove Steadfast wrong. This is the 6th or 7th time in the series, and I'm ready for it again. Big Ling Bane swell coming in from Solar. SHIN building a lot of Lings defensively as well. It will come down to the micro. Do we have any morphing Banes for Solar? His Baneliness was quite a bit faster, but not going to see them just yet.
No, definitely not. And I don't know where the Overlords are positioned here for SHIN, so I don't know exactly if he sees anything on this right side. It doesn't look like he does, so doesn't know what's happening right behind
this hatch.
The hatch is getting seriously low.
He cannot lose that. He cannot lose this hatch, but Solar is going to go for it. He's going to tunnel it. He will get that hatchery. Baneling goes down on the backside, but the hatchery going down for SHIN is a disaster. Solar gets himself a massive lead going into the mid-game.
That is a massive lead. Massive, because if you are to make a lot more drones, where do they go? Now, SHIN, he has a choice here. And it's one of those where it's like, okay, I have to put down a third. What do I do next? Because I want to do some counter damage. I have to do some counter damage. Nice micro snipe out the Banelings here. He's got quite a few Banelings of his own, but the Banelings, whose Banelings going to hit first and why? I love that SHIN's microing just one Zergling onto each of these Banelings here. And this is a lot that Solar is defending with. Honestly, SHIN needs more Lings here. I know he's got a bunch here that are hitting this hatchery, but that's a lot of Banelings that can't really do much against these Queens.
Oh man, that was a situation where if SHIN had kept the pedal to the metal, he might have been able to actually deny that base. You can't know going into it. You're assuming your opponent's going to be able to defend. You're just trying to keep them from droning up with that third base advantage and being able to mine more. But if we rewind the time machine, SHIN continues to commit to that for sure. Maybe he gets the hatch, maybe he doesn't. But now his hatch on the other side is under intense duress. He needs to pull these Lings back. He needs to hold this. 2 Queens have been pulled. That means, of course, less injects. SHIN is continuing to drone. Solar building roaches behind this. SHIN has his own Roach Warren, but he needs to figure out what's coming, and he also needs to keep this hatch alive. He is in such a desperate position right now, and he starts the layer. Oh no, SHIN, this is going to be so difficult for him.
It really is, because you see that SHIN is committing to the next part of the game, which may or may not happen.
Oh my
and look
God,
at Solar,
that Overlord.
Right out of vision over there. This third hatchery is on half health as well. And that is a lot of money invested in what may never come. Spinecrawler is starting, though.
He scouted something. What did he see? He started a spine.
He definitely did start a spine. The Evo Chamber does start for Solar. Lair also starts for him. So maybe not going to push it absolutely, because he is droning behind us at the same time.
Oh my God, he must have gotten a scout somehow. Ooh, little manual detonation on the Bane right there. I cannot believe SHIN is not going, well, okay, hold on. Let's take a look at this fight here on the left side. Banelings, oh, they're gonna come in on the middle line looking for drones. SHIN needs to split. He will lose 3 drones. That is something that is gonna hurt a lot. He didn't cancel the spine. Solar, he must have been scouted, because the only reason I think he would drone out of that is if he had been scouted. SHIN, did he cancel his layer? Or is he just not starting an upgrade? No, he is just not starting an upgrade. There we go. There's the roach speed, focusing a little bit more on redroning. This game has just been all over the place right now. Solar has the worker advantage right now, and he has the much faster +1 missile. But SHIN is still in this game, and after the loss of the third hatch, I cannot believe it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still very close. Solar just had to spend a lot of money on Overlords, and he is getting a little bit of supply lead. After that, SHIN droning up again. Now, Solar is ahead in the +1. They're both pretty close when it comes to the speed, and Solar just checking. This has been a series with a lot of Mutalisks, but this Overseer should be able to get a little bit of a glimmer at some of these drones being made, so he knows that he is droning. And Solar, he hasn't pressed the drone key in a good hot minute or so.
No, he is not. SHIN is going to have to get a very big scout here and figure out that his opponent is going for a really aggressive push, because if he can't figure that out, it is going to be so difficult to hold. Only 2 drones on that gas. I think that's a little bit of a mind game. He doesn't see the drone count at the third. Oh no, that is so unfortunate for SHIN. He is building nothing but units, but is that going to be enough against this attack? He did just get supply block with the loss of that Overseer. Solar, he is a little bit supply blocked himself, though, but Solar is committing very hard to this push. He will start up the +2 missile, but he is going to have this upgrade timing advantage. Can Shin defend against what is going to be a hammer blow from Solar?
It really is going to be a lot of units, and supplies are a little bit deceptive here because that is 10 drones with a lot more roaches here, but defender's advantage might lose a Ravager instantly. One gets taken out immediately, the other as well, and now Solar caught in the middle here. He does have the upgrade advantage, takes out the Spine Crawler. That was a high armor unit, but this is so much Zerg. Shin trying to run forward and take out those Ravagers in the back at the same time, but supply dwindling on both sides, and even though the wraparound is huge by Shin, the reinforcements from Solar, there is just more of the red Zerg drones getting pulled as well. Shin's head tilting a little bit at this moment. Drones are falling. Solar is just pushing in for the victory here, even with +2 on the way, and GG! Solar takes it after being 2-0 up. Shin almost made the reverse sweep happen. A little bit of a fist pump there from our Weeboo player. But I tell you what, Solar earned that, and he had to work freakishly hard for it.
Freakishly hard indeed. That was, oh man, that's a little bit heartbreaking for Shin right there. He was so close to bringing that back. Even in game number 5, the fact that he was able to survive as long as he did was just very impressive, and come back and make it a game after losing that third hatch. That is really tough for Shin. I